When our little girl was born, we got a Subaru.
No.
It's where she said her first word,
No.
saw her first day of school,
Bye-bye.
made a best friend forever.
Oh my.
The back seat of my Subaru is where she grew up.
What?
The 2015 Subaru Forester.
What?
Built to be there for your family. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
University Subaru.
The wise choice.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Wednesday, June the 10th. Good to have you with us today. We're going to talk about Columbia Entertainment Company. You know, last week we had Liz Schmidt on, League of Women Voters, and she was promoting the fact that CEC, Columbia Entertainment Company, is doing a benefit production of Lucky Stiff to help the League of Women Voters. Well, that production is tonight, June the 10th, and we have two of the, one character and one assistant director with us from Lucky Stiff. Good to have you. LYNN WAPELHORST.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You're the assistant director.
Yes.
And we have Chris Bowling.
Hello.
And you are Harry
Witherspoon.
Harry Witherspoon
Yes.
in the production. Now, Liz was telling us a little bit about Lucky Stiff, but go more in details. It's a pretty funny show.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. It's a musical and it's also a farce. So there's a lot of broad comedic action going on.
Now, as Harry Witherspoon, who are you?
Okay, well, Harry Witherspoon is a man. He's an Englishman who has spent his whole life just working in a shoe store. He leads a very dreary existence. He's never really done anything with his life. And then one day he finds out that he has an uncle who that he's never met before, who has left him $6 million.
$6 million?
$6 million.
So he goes from working in a shoe store to a very wealthy person.
Well, not quite, because in order to collect that $6 million, he has to take his uncle on one last vacation to Monte Carlo. His uncle, who is dead, he has to take his dead uncle to Monte Carlo on one last vacation.
So that's part of the will?
Yes, exactly.
That Harry Witherspoon has to take the dead uncle to Monte Carlo. What's he supposed to do with him in Monte Carlo?
He's been given a cassette tape that is recorded by his uncle that will tell him all the things that he is supposed to take his uncle around to do and see. Now,
so he's taking this corpse around?
Exactly.
Is this legal?
Probably not, but that would not be the only illegal thing going on in the show.
Okay. Yeah, you find out quite a bit. There's some other illegal things.
Now, in the meantime, there is another group. If Harry refuses to do this or does not do everything correct,
yeah.
right? If Harry doesn't do everything that his uncle wants him to do, then all the money will go to the Universal Dog Home of Brooklyn. And there is a young woman who represents that dog home who is also in Monte Carlo. And then there are some other shady characters also there. And everybody is after this money, trying to get
So
money.
they're trying to not have Harry Witherspoon do everything that he's supposed to do.
Exactly.
Okay. So as far as this production goes, we said it's a musical.
Right.
But you were telling me also the music is really hard to do. It's not music that we're going to recognize, but it's good.
Oh yeah. It's very vocally challenging.
And what do you mean by vocally challenging?
Well, like there's a lot of leaps around, like within the scale. You know, you're jumping an octave suddenly, and it's some of it's the rhythms are very complex at times. It can be very staccato and then turn into very more straightforward rhythm, and it jumps around a lot, and it's just and then there are parts where multiple people are singing slightly different things at the same time, and kind of overlapping one another, or singing things in sequence. We have one song where everybody's singing about how they're trying to track down either the money or the uncle or both.
Would you say this is one of the most difficult parts you've done?
Absolutely. This is the first time I've had a role of this magnitude in a musical. So this is, by far the most challenging role.
Now, as a assistant director, Lynn, how would you describe putting a musical like this together?
I would describe putting a musical a musical together is the hardest part of a show to do, because you have not only the acting, but you have the music. So we have a musical director, and then we have a choreographer, and then I'm doing a lot of the set pieces and that sort of thing. Judy Olson is taking care of what's going on the stage.
Oh, our dear friend Judy
Yes,
Olson.
Judy Olson
She's
is our
directing
director.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a CEC fixture, and so coordinating all of those people and all those schedules with a cast of 15, say, where they may or may not be on the stage at the same time, is a scheduling nightmare on top of making sure everybody...
And you know, I think that's something a lot of people don't think about when you go to see a production like CEC. The amount of hours and work that goes into making it happen.
Right.
You've got the actors, but then you've got all the technical people, and everybody has to rearrange their schedule the best they can to be there for rehearsal.
Well, especially when you're dealing with people that are all volunteers and they have full-time jobs. A lot of people have children or maybe even second jobs, and so to get them there on night after night after night, 6 weeks of rehearsal and then 3 weeks of production is often
that what it
very
is? 6
difficult.
weeks of rehearsal?
It's about 6 weeks of rehearsal.
Almost 8. It was
This
like
part-
seven
Yeah,
and a half.
this particular show had a little bit extra time due to our schedule at CEC. But
Yeah, and then 3 weeks of production. So you've donated a lot of your time, you've put a lot of your heart and soul into this, and then when it goes off after the opening night, you feel good about it.
Sure,
right?
you do. It's like you've worked to raise this small child, and you let it
Exactly.
go as an adult,
Yeah.
and they always take it and run with it, and it becomes their show that opening night. Well, in our case, for the League of Women Voters, it'll be that night,
Right.
Which is technically a dress rehearsal, but
Okay.
we put it on as a
real show.
much as possible. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, they'll be our first audience tonight.
So tonight, if you want to see it, Lucky Stiff, it's for the League of Women Voters, but then it opens to it's open to the public tonight too. But then how often are you running? Every Thursday?
It'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's at 7:30 on Thursday through Saturday, and we have a 2 p.m. matinee on Sundays.
Okay, so for 3 weeks.
Yes.
How do people get tickets?
You can go to brownpapertickets.com.
brownpapertickets.com.
That's correct.
You can buy them online, or would you say it's safe to get them at the door?
With musicals, we're much more likely to sell out with musicals, particularly towards the end of the run last week when people are trying to get in there. So it's always a good idea to buy your tickets ahead of time if you can.
Yeah.
Okay, can you buy them on the phone too?
We're really kind of getting away from that.
Okay,
it's
so you
much
gotta
more-
go
with
online.
this new system, it's much more difficult to do it that way, and that way you've paid for your seat. It is your seat, and it will not go. Will
Okay.
not ever
All right.
give it
So
away or anything.
what is it? The web address again?
www.brownpapertickets.com.
Okay, it's Lucky Stiff, opening tonight and running for 3 weeks at CEC, Columbia Entertainment Company. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Best
Paul.
of luck to you.
Thank
with
you.
everything.
Thank you for having
Okay.
us.
Tomorrow we've got Second Chance and Talking House Productions. Our program directed by Travis McMillen, Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio is Pat Akers from KBIA. Our floor director is Lowell Thomas, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser.